We're in the C Space Studio, sponsored by Integral Ad Science, with me, James Kotecki, and with us, Wesley ter Haar, co-CEO MediaMonks. Welcome to the C Space Studio.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So do you define MediaMonks as a digital marketing advertising agency, or maybe something more?
Yes, broadly. I think we're helping clients go through the next wave of digital transformation.
Yeah.
And we're doing that by combining content, creativity, data, media, and tech.
Yep.
I guess you call that an agency, but in practice it's a bit broader.
When you need smart people to throw at these problems, they call you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I want to lead by talking about your, you were named Adweek's, I'm just reading this to get this right, Adweek's very first AI agency of the year. So
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
AI is infusing CES 2024 as it never has before. Obviously, it's always been it's been a big issue. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be an AI agency, let alone an AI agency of the year?
I think it means that in general there's a lot of anxiety in our industry about this technology, and there's a bit of a fight or flight response. Our commitment was being fast and first.
Yeah.
MediaMonks, we founded it 23 years ago, and I think our strength has always been being excited about whatever happens next.
Yeah.
And we probably did that a bit more than most in our industry when AI happened, so I think that's really a reflection of it.
So then, can you give me some maybe philosophical cornerstones of your approach to AI? What's the kind of the foundation? Where do you start when you think about approaching AI as an agency?
Well, realistically, it changes the economics of advertising. It pushes what used to be manual labor to compute, pushes what used to be physical production and spend to cloud.
Yeah.
And it's being honest and fair about what that does for our collective commercial model. Because agencies, our commercial model pretty much is what percentage of my people can I get billable for what percentage of their time.
Yeah.
People and time, that's a very squishy concept in the age of AI. And it's being honest about that and excited about what happens after it, which is really, I think, the fundamentals in our push.
I heard that when they first invented the spreadsheet, some accountants would do it, would use the spreadsheet, but then they would take 3 days to deliver it to the client because they would still want to kind of imply that they were doing it the manual way because they were afraid of it, potentially, taking business away or maybe changing the perception of what they could do. It sounds like you're kind of leaning into that perception change in your case. What are some of the practical ways that that actually manifests itself? What is someone doing in their day-to-day that's different now because of AI, or maybe how do you conceptualize that differently?
It's interesting because the account and Excel example is often used as an explanation that it didn't replace an industry, it actually made an industry grow, more meaningfully impactful, and I think we have a similar opportunity on our side of the fence. Realistically, we're giving back some of that productivity gain to clients earlier than maybe is comfortable, because we're also looking at the upside and the excitement, which is we can start delivering on the original promise of digital advertising. Right? The hypothesis is if we have more, we can be more personal, more targeted, more contextual. Yeah. So a lot of this plays out in our ability to create a lot more output at much higher levels of speed, just allow us to be a more relevant player from an advertiser perspective.
You have an AI announcement here at CES.
Yes.
It is an AI product called Monflow. Tell us about that.
I think it's the only AI announcement at CES this year.
This is the one.
This is the only one
on our stage, so thank you so much.
It's quite exciting. So Monflow, this is really playing into the fact that the economics have changed. Monflow packages some of the industry's very best talent with AI technology in workflows that are aimed at specific high-value marketing organization use cases, retail media content, performance media. And you can buy that from us in different ways than you used to buy just our services. And it's actually, from a commercial perspective, very competitively priced.
That's interesting. So Flow is about workflow. Yeah. And the idea that, I mean, to use another analogy, the chess analogy is often used sometimes too. So it's, a human can be beaten by a computer, but a human and a computer working together are the most unbeatable kind of combination. So it's similar philosophy there? Yeah,
that's the philosophy, and I think it's important. I think the current initial sort of wave is a lot about people using interfaces. We don't think that's really the next wave of what's happening. Okay. It's really having models and workflows controlled and influenced by people, but not just a person and an interface. That's not really scalable. So it really changes how our teams work and how our teams are able to work for our clients.
So when you say it's not all about the interface, it's not for you someone just sitting in front of a computer screen like a ChatGPT and saying, give me 5 taglines to use for this ad campaign.
No, it's not just mere prompting interfaces. I actually think we're seeing, in our industry at least, the initial sort of backlash against AI output.
Okay.
Because lots of people got really excited, started
Right.
using a bunch of tools, and now they're looking at the output going, wait a minute, that's not actually usable for us as an end product.
Yeah.
So it's how do we put people in the loop while still getting the speed and scale upside of AI models.
Interesting. But there must be, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, as we all are here at CES. So there must be some kind of interface though, right? So if a human and an AI are going to interact or have this be in a workflow together, how do you package it so that, to what extent is the human seeing AI, is reacting to AI? Tell me about that.
I'll give you an example, which is probably the most popular use case at the moment, retail media. There's lots of content needs that our clients have. Historically, that's been the case for the last decade, but retail media has pushed that into a whole new wave. Our talent sets up the initial templates. The AI models and APIs create all of the versions, all of the translations, all of the variations that we can sort of map against affinity segments. And then it goes back to the human that makes sure everything is high quality, maybe gives feedback to the model if something isn't good enough, so reinforcement learning. And then the person in the loop sort of finalizes and pushes into media. So you sort of have this handover. It's not just an interface. It's the human and the machine work closely together in those workflows to get to the best output.
And do you see your team rethinking their own approach to creativity or even their own philosophy around what it means to be creative?
Yeah, 100%. There's a bit of ontological shock to it. Like it's quite strange to look at something that's been done one way for a very long time and suddenly there's a way to do it completely differently. But we published a book ahead of the lens today as well, which shows our own talent using AI as a tool for creativity. And it's actually amazing to see the quality of that output. So I think the very best talent gets the very best output. That hasn't changed. Just the amount of output you can create is completely different now.
It sounds like you're trying to stay on the leading edge here. That accolade from being the AI Agency of the Year certainly indicates that. So is there something about the industry that you think and that you believe, but that other people might think is kind of implausible?
I think we'll look at the current commercial models in our industry as very old-fashioned very quickly. I think the concept of just paying knowledge workers per hour, I think doesn't really make sense in the age of AI.
Okay.
So I think that's where at an industry level we're probably looking at that either more ambitiously or more aggressively, depending on your take.
Where you would prefer to be paid for output or results, I suppose?
We do output and outcome. For every client that's ready to move into this space, we move to output and outcome.
Okay. And how's that working?
It's working well. It's working well. It's early, right? Everybody is sort of in that first wave, but we're very excited by what we're seeing.
Is there something you think brands should be thinking about in 2024 that they might not be thinking about? Is there a message or a flag you want to wave here at CES?
I think people maybe underestimate the impact this is going to have. Like at CES, it's quite interesting, right? AI isn't a category; it's the start of a new economy, right? It's part of every product, part of every service. It will impact every industry. I think people mostly underestimate that, to be honest. And I think understanding what your business service is within that new economy is quite a meaningful discussion.
So you said, how long ago did you start MediaMonks?
It's almost 23 years now.
So you've clearly had some success if you've been around for that length of time. You're continuing to have success. How do you not rest on your laurels and figure out what works and try to keep doing that and maybe run that into the ground? How do you keep it fresh?
Well, I think the history of the company is a search for relevance, right? The constant question of are we relevant now for our own people and for our clients, and will we be relevant 6, 12, 18 months from now? You used to be able to make 3 to 5 year plans.
Right.
That doesn't feel realistic anymore. But it's the excitement of that switch that I think is actually why we still keep pushing.
It seems like you are prepared for your business to radically change in the next couple of years and to look different again.
It will have to.
Okay.
It will have to.
Well, when that happens, we hope that you come back and share that with us again.
Thank you.
Wesley ter Haar, MediaMonks. Thank you so much for joining us here.
I appreciate it. Thank you, James.
And thank you so much for joining us. We are in the C Space Studio at CES 2024. This year we're sponsored by Integral Ad Science. I am James Kotecki, and you can find us live on the CES LinkedIn, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube channels. And if you're watching us live right now, just keep it here because more great conversations are on the way.